Hello, everyone. We are back with episode 22 of the Ready Set Shag podcast. I appreciate everyone coming by tonight. We're in a different location. We're over here on the Shagsworth live channel if you're watching this live. And if you're listening to this in the future, the future, I have a brand new channel over on YouTube. There I do all my live streams now, except for the midweek hump. That'll stay on the main channel for now. But we're here with a new special guest. We try and do some fun interviews, talk to people that I admire, people that I look up to, people that I'm just fascinated by on many levels. And this man is no exception. He is, well, his bio is pretty funny. We're going to get into it, but he is a gamer, a Sith Lord, Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist, sushi and sake connoisseur, tennis player, and Star Wars, I'll say fanatic. Is the man, the myth, the legend, Darth Caul. What's up, brother?
How you doing, brother? Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. What's up, chat?
Dude, I appreciate you taking the time to sit down with me. We've been on the midweek hump before, and we've got to rap out about pop culture and stuff. But on this show, I like to get into like who my guests are, and really where they've been, where they're going, and so yeah, like for people who don't know you and who are going to be listening to you for the first time, give a little bit extended look into who you are and where you kind of came from.
Well, I mean, my buddy B Dutch, you can look up on Twitch, who's a friend of mine offline, told me about Twitch. And I remember when he was explaining it to me, I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. It doesn't make any sense. But he's like, trust me, check it out. I think you'd be good at it. And that's the only reason why I have a Twitch channel, actually, is because he told me to do it. And the Darth Maul thing kind of just came about because I had gotten tickets to Comic-Con from my friend like in 2017, and so I was just like, yo, I'm gonna do Darth Maul because that's like a cool idea, because I'd never been to Comic-Con before.
Yeah.
So it's really pretty random, honestly. But that's where I'm from. I do just like gaming streams. I have some interview videos on my YouTube channel that you can check out if you want to see me as different costume characters asking con people questions mainly about the movies that have come out, because that kind of got sparked by just seeing the sequels and how Disney handled Star Wars.
Yeah.
After I got to go to Comic-Con, because the first time I went, I didn't do any interviews. I didn't have a camera. I didn't have a mic. Like, we just went for fun, and I just went for the whole shebang as Maul. We didn't even take we barely took like any photos. Like, the only footage from the first time we did that was the Olive Garden video. I don't even know if you know what I'm talking about, but it's him at Olive Garden.
Where you're just like you're with the wine and stuff.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Which was crazy because everyone was like normal, because it's San Diego. So on that weekend, people don't really, I guess, really care. But I technically got served without a shirt on, which was maybe illegal, which is pretty cool.
It's funny you mention that, because I've seen that clip a couple times. You've shared it to like, nod to certain things that are, on Twitter. And I'm like, wait a minute, he does not wearing a shirt inside this restaurant.
That was one of the top comments on Reddit, because I posted that on Reddit, and that got to the front page of Reddit. And one of the top comments was, why was this guy allowed inside?
People are weird, man. Like, in all the time that you've been on the internet, like, is it not like just the weirdest place? Like it's a place where you could meet 100 million people, 1 billion people on, I don't know how many people are on Twitter. But there's a lot. But it attracts, I feel like, the weirdest group.
Or maybe it reveals it, maybe it was there the whole time.
Yeah, that is a good point. Right. I've said that, like, I mean, all these people existed before Twitter for the most part. Everyone who's on it was here pretty much before it existed. But it's basically put a megaphone in front of them, right? Mm-hmm. Like, but to the world, not just their street corner. It's now the world. Everyone's got to hear these people. So they're always there, right? Mm-hmm. Now we're all privy to them.
Yeah. The internet can be a crazy place, because those interviews led to me streaming on Twitch and doing Darth Maul. And the whole reason I was doing the whole Darth Maul thing, outside of the fact that it was the only character I'd ever done even one time, which was at Comic-Con for fun, was because I was learning about it, like, as I was doing it. Like, I didn't know what raids were. I didn't know what Twitch was. I didn't know what streams were. I had no idea. Like, I was just going on there and gaming on Battlefront 2 and like figuring it out. Yeah. But the reason why I did the Darth Maul shit was to just kind of like obscure myself a little bit, because I'd seen so many other people get raided get swatted, like raided in the bad way, like where they call in a SWAT team
Yeah.
while you're live. And so I was like, it probably won't help at all, but like that was the idea behind it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, then I got into Battlefront 2 and streaming that a lot while the game was alive. The game's pretty dead now.
Yeah.
But it was popping for a while, and you meet some crazy people. That was some of the most hostile, like toxic shit you could encounter. Because on
Really?
PC, yeah. I mean, you could probably say that about every game, like no matter what. I mean, Dead by Daylight, Sea of Thieves, Grand Theft Auto. But on PC, there's a chat, right? And with Battlefront 2, that's the only time where you can talk to each other, because on Xbox, on PlayStation, there's no chat. So you can't talk shit during, you can't talk shit after. Like it's just you're playing. But on PC, it's a whole other world.
Yeah.
Because you have that chat box in the upper right where they're, saying the most vile shit possible. Like I won't repeat some of the things that have been said to me, but like I've been told to off myself more times than I can count. Just especially in like if you did like the 2v2s, because they had a mode called Hero Showdown.
Yeah.
And that's where it's 2v2 and you pick your team. And it's usually like, I don't know, like Darth Vader, Darth Maul versus Luke and Yoda, any kind of combination. That's where shit got the most heated, is people would get really upset. Like you beat them and they're like, every slur and the world comes out. It's pretty nuts.
Yeah. Dude,
and then Sea of Thieves is like that too. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no. You can continue, because I was to say I play Counter-Strike, so it's like I'm so familiar with gamer words and stuff. But what were you saying about Sea of Thieves? Because I've never played Sea of Thieves, really.
Well, it's just a little bit more intense, because that's one of the only games I've played where it's a live mic. So like if you and I came across each other on the oceans, you could talk to me and I would hear you from my pirate would hear what your pirate's saying verbally through your mic.
Oh.
So it's like a whole other level above the previous shit talk where you can't hear it. You can only read it.
Yeah.
And then like you're live and these random people are coming on your stream, like because they're near your boat close enough to say whatever they want. And then it's just like, ooh, so that's pretty crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because I've always wanted to try Sea of Thieves. I'm at an age now where I don't want to learn new things. I feel like that's the most boomer shit I could possibly say.
Yeah.
But like you get to a point where you got your comfort food, right? You know what you like, and that's what you go to. And Sea of Thieves makes me think like, well, if this were like 10 years ago, I'd be all over it, because I have time to learn it. I know it's like competitive. It's not even a competitive game, but I know people are competitive while they're playing.
It can be. But a nice way to kind of like chill your way into the game if you're new is there's like galleons, which is a 4-person ship. So you can have like experienced people with you, kind of show you what's up.
Yeah.
And there's like 3 different ships. There's a 2-person ship, a 3-person ship, and a 4-person ship. And Flawed bought the game like 6 years ago in the beta and then never played it. And then we just randomly played it for the first time. So he'd never played it before. And like the rarest ass megalodon that never spawned, and we killed it. It was crazy. Like,
oh, that's awesome.
I think it's like 1 in 10,000. Like there's a lot of like Sea of Thieves streamers that had played that game for like 7,000, 8,000 hours for years, and they've never seen it one time. And Flawed logged in, and when he logged in, because I watched the stream back because he put up a video of it on his gaming channel, because he made a gaming channel on YouTube. And in the beginning of the stream, I'm like, yeah, wouldn't it be crazy if the Shrouded Ghost, that's the name of the megalodon, like popped up and Flawed killed it, and then like 20 minutes later pops up and we kill it. And the whole time I was like, it's not the Shrouded, like there's no way. But I heard this music I'd never heard before, and I have a lot of hours in the game because I streamed that a lot too in the past.
Okay.
And I was like, there's no way. And then we kill it and the achievement pops. It was nuts. Adam was there too. Cool.
That's nuts, man. Dude, I gotta say, like, meeting you, meeting Flawed, meeting Mo, well, I haven't met Adam in person yet, but
that's true.
Getting into like being able to game with you guys, or just like I said, you and I met in person. It's been such a privilege. It's made 2023 like one of the best years for me. I mean, because I've met so many cool people.
For sure.
And I said in a tweet the other day that like playing games with Flawed in particular, because I think he has this personality where it's just like, fuck it, man. Like, let's just have fun. Like even if it's a competitive game, he's like sure, he's competitive, but he's bad and he might know it. And he's just like, listen, who cares? Let's just have a good time. Let's play Fortnite. Let's
yeah,
play
he doesn't get as triggered as easily as the average person. And he'll
Yeah.
play pretty much anything for sure. Flawed, shout out.
Yeah, shout out to you, Flawed brother. You're fucking awesome. But no, like, you know, it's so back to you. You got your start just kind of by accident because your friend said, "Hey, you should do this. It would be kind of cool." Was it like one of those situations where your friend wanted to do it but didn't, just thought you had the personality for it, and then you just kind of like, "Okay, well, let's just try it out."
No, he's actually a much bigger streamer than I am. You guys can look him
Oh,
up. It's B Dutch. I think it's B Dutch 22. But he basically just kind of instructed me first of all what it was, how to get started. Um, and yeah, I kind of rolled with it because it was kind of a fun thing to do, and
mhm.
I didn't know this would happen, but because I was intentionally, trying to put a little bit between me and the internet with the mall stuff that got a lot of clicks, it also helped that Battlefront 2 was a game that had tanked. So,
Yeah,
it's a very popular IP, but almost right out the gate, EA mishandled it so badly that the viewership dropped dramatically,
yeah,
which in some ways was terrible because there's less exposure, but in some ways was beneficial, I guess, because it was a smaller pond. And so it was
yes,
easier to stand out, especially if you're being Darth Maul playing as Darth Maul, which I think is still pretty cool. I think it's pretty tight. If you guys ever want to see
hell yeah,
Darth Maul play as Darth Maul, check it out on my channel.
yeah,
It's tight. But yeah, I hit level 1000 in that game as Maul, and then one of the producers of Battlefront was like, "We upped the level of all the characters because of people like you who only play one character and they never level up anybody else." Because my only character that hit 1K, which is max, which is very sweaty, was Maul, of course.
yeah,
But I didn't do it cheating because like you could like go into like co-op with your friends and just blow up AI, and you could
yeah.
like you could milk it. But I always played the game the exact same way, which was just HVV, which was intense.
Okay.
HVV is basically the 2v2, but it's a 4v4.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so like that had such potential because like it's epic having four heroes and four villains from a really cool franchise going at it. Like you got Boba Fett flying up in the air, sniping you. Vader's holding you down in the middle. He's a tank. Like it was very cool, but very imbalanced. But anyway, yeah, that's how I kind of got started. And I would like give him updates, like this is what I'm doing. You have any advice? And then when Rise of Skywalker came out, the game got a huge. There was a couple of times where the game kind of reanimated from the dead because
Right.
it came out. And for those of you that don't know the sad, tragic tale of Battlefront 2, they put everything behind like lock boxes and they
Mm,
put things behind paywalls. So like when you bought the game for $60 and you're like, oh boy, I can't wait to play as Darth Vader. He costs 40,000 credits. You don't have 40,000 credits. So you got to grind. And then they had the loot boxes, loot boxes, and I'm going to really explain that too much, but they put loot boxes heavily into the game to encourage players to pay to win to get their stuff faster and be more competitive more quickly because you
yeah.
get the higher tier stuff instead of having to work for it. And so obviously that destroyed the game like on day one. So then
Yeah.
EA saw the game tank and they pulled all their funding, but then the game still had to exist for a couple of years and a couple of expansions because they had like a Geonosis expansion with Obi-Wan and General Grievous, and there was an Anakin one that was big. So the game died, and then because the Star Wars fandom is so intense, it didn't
Yeah.
die. Like it died, but the corpse was still like moving around and wouldn't really completely go away. It was like a zombie. And then when Rise of Skywalker came out, it just had a huge influx of new players because everyone was just hyped on Star Wars because oh shit, it's one of the big ones in the theaters. So it actually had a huge wave that came back. And then when it came to Steam, because it came to Steam, and that was another time where the game basically rose from the dead again like a phoenix, and
Mhm.
it like the player count was quite high, and EA then was like, yeah, we're dropping all support, even though like the game had shown like we've come back so many times. So it's
Right.
really quite tragic how that happened. And EA had an exclusive license for the Star Wars content, which means no other company could make Star Wars games. So they sit on their ass, they sit on the IP, they don't make games, they just have Battlefront 2, they kill it on the first day. Like it was just kind of sad, but whatever. It was an experience playing that game from beta and like watching the trailers and then seeing its whole progression as a game to the point where it's now basically dead is kind of amazing.
Yeah. It's,
Mm.
I don't know if I've ever experienced that with a game. I made my start on Twitch streaming Elder Scrolls Online, which was really successful for me. But I'd seen it from beta into its full release, which was a mess by most people's standards. I always loved it just because I guess I just grown up with buggy Bethesda games and Elder Scrolls games, and I don't know, everything seemed to work pretty well for me. Like nothing was ever game breaking.
Mm-hmm.
And then I end up getting burnout from the game, but I've always like in some ways I've always stuck with it and played. I think I've played all the expansions except for the latest one, just because it got to be too much. Once you have kids and stuff, like there's
Right, less time.
priorities, right? It's like rearranged and not enough time to grind out the gear and even that game became like became more about the crown store, like the in-game shop, and then they have like these weird loot boxes in there now, which is like, I don't know, in 2023 you would think like loot boxes were like a thing of the past, but they keep going. And it was so far removed from what it was, but it's been in that game. I wouldn't call it dead. There's still a lot of people playing that game. But
I mean,
yeah,
Battlefront still gets games too. Like it's not dead, but it's pretty dead. Like if you looked on the viewership, you'd be like, oof. But you can always find a game.
I gotta say too, one of the things I like about, like you were saying, Battlefront has like kind of a smaller pool. So I mean, you being, when you're in your Maul regalia and you're playing the game as Maul, like you stand out from the other people. So it's really easy to see. And that's one thing I
Yeah.
realized with Twitch nowadays is it's almost more enjoyable to get into those games. I was playing one recently called Soulstone Survivors, which is um an action roguelike, uh, where you basically just do, multiple runs over and over again, and you get like crazy powerful over it because you keep building on your abilities and you keep, making them more powerful, and you get new ones. You can hold up to like 5 or 6. And at one point I had this ability. It was basically a whirlwind slash that
Yeah.
took up the entire screen. Like it was
Nice.
had such a big of an area effect. It was insane. I could just stand there and it would like kill everything.
Yeah.
But I was meeting so many cool people playing these, like, because it would just have like their niche viewership, people that had seen it when it first came out, but now no one really plays it, but they still like to see who's playing the game. Um, I'm going through that right now with Dark Souls 2, because I've never played Dark Souls 2. And now I'm like going through and playing it blind for the very first time. So you get all these people who are like Souls fanatics, and especially Dark Souls 2, because nobody really, it's so different from the other ones, but it has its niche audience that is like loves it and just wants to see people suffer.
Yeah.
So it's really cool getting into those crowds where they're the game super fans. And I'm sure you get that too with people who are like, they're watching you. They're watching you because they built, built an audience with you, but also like they're big fans of Star Wars or that particular game. So
It's true. Yeah, for sure. And you learn a lot. Like, I like to play Dead by Daylight a lot. I like playing Survivor, and I learn a lot from my viewers in that game because, like, there are just people who are hardcore Dead by Daylight fans that know like every perk much better than I do. So whenever I do something stupid, they'll be like, "Yo, fucked up here," and I'll learn just from that. Yeah.
yeah. Oh man, it's so with your cosplays, because one of the things you didn't really mention in your own self-made bio was that you're not you didn't put in there cosplayer, which I have to say, like, as all the stuff I've known of you is that I mean, you've done some really good characters. You've done Maul, you've done Jack Sparrow.
Undead as well. Undead as well. Skeleton
Really?
Jack. Yeah, yeah. One of my
That's
emotes
cool.
is Undead Jack. Yeah.
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah. That was a cool one. Because
What
he looked like a skeleton with the undead monkey and shit. It was pretty tight.
yeah, that's cool. So when you originally was there anything in your head when you had first done Maul that like you were interested in getting to this anyway, and it was just, you got your ticket, so hey, like now's the time? Or did you do it as like a fun little whatever? And
I
then it
did it
just
as a
sort of
fun whatever, but I remember when I got the ticket, because first of all, getting tickets to Comic-Con, if you're not like a journalist, if you're not a Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist such as myself, you don't get free tickets. So you have to basically enter into a raffle. So basically what you do is you'll log into like a lobby, at 9 a.m. on a Saturday, and you've got your ID and your password, and you just wait for 60 minutes and you hope that a little screen will pop up saying you've randomly been selected. You may purchase tickets. And then you go into the venue and you try and buy Thursday or Friday or Saturday or Sunday, depending on when you get in. If you get in, like Saturday will be gone, Friday will be gone. And like you're just hoping to get anything.
Yeah.
So my buddy was like, hey, Comic-Con's coming up. He goes like every year. He goes every year. And he's like, yo, like, do you want to go? And I was like, yeah, let's try it. And he didn't have the ability to buy me tickets because I'd never been before. So he explained the whole raffle thing. Like, you're just going to have to kind of hope.
Yeah.
It was like a 9% chance or something. And so I sit in the lobby and we're waiting and we're waiting and we're waiting. And it's GG. But then, like, I swear, like with like 3 minutes to go, I get in. So I got super, super, super lucky.
Yeah.
And so I only got a Sunday ticket. That was all that was left. And that's when I was like, yo, I'm going to do mall, because if you're going to go to like the mecca of all Comic-Cons and you have a ticket, like do something fun and challenging. And that was a super challenging look because you had to do the full body.
Yep.
That shit was crazy to put on, man. The first time I did it, I drove from LA in Burbank. That's where I got my makeup done, all the way down to San Diego the day of the event.
What?
It was brutal. So like I woke up at like 2 a.m. I swear to God, like 2 a.m. in LA, because that's when you have to get up. And I got to the makeup place at like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And this makeup person who I hired had never done a full body mall, because I don't think most people have done full body mall paint jobs. You know, like it's pretty niche. So we did the best we could, and it took like 6 hours. And then I had to drive down to San Diego, hope my car doesn't have any problems, because if it did, I would have missed the whole thing. Yeah. But as I was driving down, it was bumper to bumper. Like, it was really bad traffic. And I was like, it was Sunday. So I was like, fuck. So I'm just in my car as complete Darth Maul in bumper to bumper traffic. So people were honking at me the whole time on the way down, like, hey, Darth Maul. It was crazy. But I had this crazy ass paint on. But I was
in the car. One that we have on the
That's
thumbnail?
The one. That's the first one. That was the one where we just went. That's a Rotten Tomatoes photo. They're the only, like, I have like a couple of pictures from like the LA Weekly. That's a Rotten Tomatoes photo that someone took, and the video that my friend took, because my buddy was like just filming me dicking around at Olive Garden, and that's like the only other footage of the night. But so I'm driving down in bumper to bumper traffic. This was a really bad way to do it, by the way. If you're ever doing full body makeup of anything, don't do it and then drive to the place. It's just a terrible idea. But because I was in bumper to bumper traffic, I had to grab my steering wheel and pull myself up off the back seat to make sure my back seat wasn't touching. So I was like constantly doing like an ab like plank the whole way down, and my back was killing me. I was dying. So by the time I finally got out, it was just a relief to get out of the car, because I had been maintaining one frozen like statue position for like 2.5 hours, going like 5 miles per hour the whole time. It sucked. And then we did it again in 2018. And that time we were smart enough to do it at a hotel in San Diego. And for that one, it was a lot more fun, because I got to just stand there and not have to worry about the driving part. But it takes about 6.5 hours. It's insane. Like, it was insane.
Wow, dude.
Yeah, but it looked very real, because I got like the real lenses. I have like these film hand painted lenses of the mall eyes, and I had to go to an optometrist and get like a waiver, because if you want to get these lenses from this website, because it's for like film and TV, you have to like show, hey, it's okay to put these in my eyes. So like it looks pretty intense, and you had to get like really specific makeup. It's called Pro Air. If you ever want to have makeup that you can sweat through, it's PROAIIR, and that shit will stick to your skin forever. And I didn't know. And then I went into my buddy's hotel bathroom to shower. When I was done, I was like, sweet, did it. And I took a shower. I was showering, and then I look in the mirror and nothing has come off. Literally, like, so much soap. And then you look down though, and the bathtub is blood red, completely stained. Like, it looks like you killed 3 bodies in the bathtub, but nothing really came off, which was fucked up. And I was like, holy shit. So then I had to go to CVS looking like half deranged, like water dunked weirdo mall. Yeah. And then we had to get like these huge packets of makeup remover, and you would like scrub your skin to like, like, get like rub it out. And that's how you would actually get it off. So if you're ever going to do it, you have to be prepared to scrub makeup remover on that shit. But it's very, very, very long lasting. It definitely gets the job done. The show.
I was gonna say, have you found any easier way besides that makeup remover to get it off, or do you just
You
like?
need
I
it.
guess
You need it. You
yeah,
100% need it. But there's different makeups. Like when I would do the gaming streams, I wouldn't do Pro Air because that's shit so intense. And when I'm just chilling in my apartment, which was it's still insane to do a full head mall for a
yeah,
video game. Like that shit takes forever. People don't know. Like, why aren't you always mall? It's like if you knew how fucking hard it is just to even do this part of that,
right,
you know, like replicating that over and over is very difficult. But there's like water-based paint. So
yeah,
as long as you're not sweating, you're good. But I remember one time I was doing when I was going to hit the level 1000 just as like a nerdy thing. I'm going to stream as Maul, hit level 1000 as Maul. And I
yeah.
remember I did like an hour of makeup and I didn't have the right makeup for the teeth, for Maul's teeth, which is a minty type of teeth. So I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
So I walked down the street. It's like one block down, this makeup place, and I started sweating.
Oh
The
no.
makeup got all fucked up just because that was the water-based one. So you have to have cold conditions if you're going to do that.
Okay.
That was triggering when I like wasted like an hour and a half of time because you're like in front of the mirror like this. Like I could
Yep.
do Maul in my sleep, the makeup, because I've done it so many times just for Battlefront 2.
Yep.
Which is nuts. But yeah, it was cool. It was cool. It was worth it. The Maul look was intense. Many children literally cried. It was epic.
Making kids cry. God damn.
I did.
Paul.
Yeah. One kid was trying to burrow back into their stroller when they saw me. They were like trying to dig to China and get away. Because I mean, it's pretty terrifying looking.
Yeah. I mean, even
devil person.
Yeah, like when you look at this, I'm just gonna bring up the thumbnail
It's
again.
freaky.
Like, yeah, dude, like it's pretty wild. Like, cause like with the teeth and the eyes,
and the earring. I had the earring, it was magnetic.
Yeah, but like I mean, just in general, like he's such a good Star Wars character. He's just the embodiment of evil and the dark side. You know, even like right up there with Darth Vader, but like on sort of the opposite spectrum where like Vader's covered and you can't see him, and like the breathing, like there's something very terrifying about that. But on the opposite end, you have Maul, who's like outwardly showing this manifested evil in like his race and you know this whatever his species is. I'm not as deep into the lore, but like all of that stuff.
He's a Zabrak from Dathomir, in case anyone wants to, in case anyone cares. Yeah, dude. Yeah, Maul's terrifying. You don't recognize yourself once you go into the makeup. Like that, his face is so fucking freaky. Like whoever designed his tribal tattoos, like they're very freaky, and it really does change your face to the point where if you have it on, no one's gonna recognize you. I feel like it's impossible.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's funny because when you and I met in real life, like I've seen you with the makeup on, but I mean, I always see you like this with your beanie and your glasses. And I remember and
master of disguise.
Right. And I remember when I was like, when I walked up to you, because you're with Flawed in them, and then I was like, hey, what's up? And then you just like put your glasses on. I'm like, what's up, Caul?
Yeah.
You know, like it's funny how it all kind of comes together with, I mean, that's you now. Like this look that you have, like that's all I know you about. And even if I met you again and you didn't have all that stuff on, it would be really hard for me to like pick you out. Just
which I love. That was the whole plan.
Yeah.
Was to never be noticed. That was pretty awesome. And I remember I was talking to Comics Division in Vegas for like 10 minutes. And then I was like, I'm called, by the way. He was like, oh, shit. He didn't know.
Yeah. See, I don't know. There's times where I thought, because I used to watch Lyric back in the day on Twitch.
He rated me.
Did he really?
Dude, he rated me when I was Darth Maul. This is when I was Gamer Bro Maul and I had the LED headphones.
Yeah.
And the hat.
Yeah.
Because I did the hat so I wouldn't have to do all the makeup. And he rated me because he was playing Battlefront 2. And when he was playing Battlefront 2, the viewership jumped to like 15,000. So all the other Battlefront streamers were like, oh shit, lyric streaming. And then I wasn't the most, I guess I wasn't the most consistent of the Battlefront streamers. So I wasn't always online as much. Yeah. But I popped and I stood out because it was Maul. Yeah. And that's why I got a raid. I'm assuming because Lyric's like, all right, who should we raid? Oh, cool, that's crazy, Darth Maul. Let's go do that. And then all my Battlefront homies, what's up, Battlefront homies? They were like, oh shit, Caul's got 15,000 people. And there's a clip of it on YouTube I didn't know because again, I was still kind of new to this,
Yeah.
so I didn't know who Lyric was, and I thought the number was fake. Like
Yeah.
I thought that the OBS had broken because it was 15,000 people. I was like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah,
But
dude.
yeah, that was crazy. Mhm.
But like, yeah, when I used to watch Lyric, I was always fascinated by how he never had a camera. Like, no, I don't
Mhm.
know what he looks like, you know?
Yeah.
And it was, I thought, I wish I had like taken that route in some regard and preserved my anonymity.
Mhm. I
Because
mean,
there's some,
we'll all probably get doxxed, but
right.
whatever.
Someone at my
Whatever.
work actually doxed me.
Wow, that's
Dude, it was,
crazy.
yeah, it's wild. I'll tell you about it some off stream or something, but it was but yeah, no, I wish I had that anonymity still where I could just be like kind of fade into the crowd because it's also I'm sure it's fun for you to like go to a meetup and do what you did, like talk to comics division or whoever, and
It was
then
awesome.
oh
It
yeah,
was fucking awesome. Yeah, it
yeah,
was
dude.
cool because I felt
Um
like no one had any idea, and I could. I mean, Flawed was like, you have to come up to me because I literally don't know what you look like, so you have to like come find me. I did.
yeah.
Mhm.
Well, and it isn't that crazy though? Like it just like when you think back with like COVID and stuff where everyone's like masked, you know, here.
Yeah.
There's so many different ways that I could look by covering this part up. And but it works the same way from here up for you. Like, you know, covering your eyes and your head. Like, I don't know what kind of
Mhm.
hair you have, or I don't know what you have. There's so many different configurations of eyes you could have, you know. You could
Yeah.
have one eye. I don't know.
I mean, if you just
So
go to my YouTube, you can see right off the top banner. You can see my eyes when I'm Jack. Those are my real eyes. I
right.
will. Those are me. But then there's like the Sith eyes. There's the Data eyes. There's the Maul eyes. There's the Cheetah character who I gave him an orange and a blue cat eye. I haven't done that character in a while. But that whole thing, I don't know if you've seen that picture of that character. But
No.
there's I called him Cheetaro.
Okay.
He's basically just imagine like a cheetah humanoid that's like a scumbag rogue that would like rob you in like a Dungeons and Dragons type of thing. That was him.
Okay.
And the reason why I made that was because just in case, because I was portraying characters that I don't own, I was worried. You never know that they're going to be like, you can never do this again,
Okay.
or just in case. I don't know. So I wanted to have at least one
Yeah.
that had nothing to do with anything, and so that's why I made that character.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
dude.
wild
It's
looking. He looks weird.
I should go through some more of your picks. So how many characters have you done total? Like in
We've
your
done
time?
we've done some really cool streams because it started out as Maul,
Yep.
but then my chat they would suggest and ask like, why don't you try something else? Like we want to see Jack Sparrow. I really forget why, but for some reason they wanted Jack Sparrow, and so we were like, okay, we'll play Sea of Thieves and we'll do Jack Sparrow, and we fundraised it, and that's how Jack came about. And then for a bit, I was a Sea of Thieves partner, playing that game a lot, doing drops and stuff.
Hmm.
And then, okay, so those are the two main ones. And then we did a Pennywise one, Pennywise Halloween. That was fucking crazy
Yep. I've
because
seen that one.
everything you see has been funded by the chat. And it's like, I'm not like a professional makeup artist. I just do the best I can. And I painted a lot of Warhammer as a kid. Like that's pretty
Okay.
much it. Like
So you got the steady hand.
I have a steady hand, so I
Yeah.
can definitely like do patterns and shit. So for Pennywise, I was really worried because it's like this huge prosthetic wig, and like I don't know if it's even gonna stay, and so that was really really hard. I did like 2 hours of prep just putting that one on. That was a crazy one. Pennywise, that's one of the ones I'm most proud of, just because of how hard it was to put it all on.
Yeah.
And I fucked up, and I put what was it? Some kind of latex. I think I put latex trying to blend the cap of this beautiful wig. This wig, I'm not trying to flex, but that thing cost so much money, and it was my chat that funded it. Because I remember I told them like, I'll do Pennywise, but I don't want to do something and have it be kind of like half-ass, or I went down to the Spirit Halloween store. I don't want to be that Pennywise. I want to do
Right.
it the best that I know how to do it. So I was like, if we have to do it, we're gonna have to get this wig, and it was fucking expensive, like $600 or something like that.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was crazy. like a couple of PS5s basically just for a wig. It's really stupid, but amazing. And I'm really grateful to my chat. They really have spoiled me with crazy ass shit like that.
Mhm.
But yeah, I put latex on it and ruined it. So right out the gate, I was trying to just do any kind of takes where I was full screen before I started playing the game because I was worried about the makeup deteriorating, and it did quite quickly. So I was smart to just bang something out while it was still fresh and hadn't been fucked up because the latex that I put on it that was trying to blend in basically kind of peeled and became plasticky, and it was like a whoops. Well, this is why I'm not a professional makeup artist, and you fuck up and there it is. But it was
Right.
cool. So there's Pennywise. We did a data stream. That was a crazy one
That's
where
cool.
we did I think it's some kind of bridge simulator.
Yeah.
And that was one of my favorite ones too because it was different. I still have all that equipment. I still got his wig. I've still got a really nice uniform for him. But we blew up the Enterprise because I remember I didn't want to have the earbuds in because
Yeah.
Data doesn't have earbuds. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
I wanted to have it look official, but because that was the case, I was deaf. And so I didn't know that our ship was under attack for like 30 minutes. And all of a sudden, like the bridge is on fire. I'm like, oh, and then the whole thing explodes. It's pretty funny. But that was a fun one. Data from Star Trek. We did Batman. They funded an incredible bat suit for me. It looks fucking crazy. And I got to design it, which was fucking sweet. Because I really like aspects of Ben Affleck's suit. Like I like
Yeah.
the texture, I like the color, I like that it's gray, it's comic booky. So
Yeah, I like it too.
we did pretty much that exact suit, but I had him do more of the classical Arkham City emblem as opposed to
Okay.
the big. Though I do like big fat chunky bat suit symbol too. I like that. It's cool.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the one we wanted to do. And then I got the cowl uh, from Arkham Origins, the video game.
Uh-huh.
It's this really nice latex cowl. And then I got the neck piece from The Dark Knight, Christian Bale. So it's kind of like an amalgamation of a couple of different bat suits kind of
That's rad.
fused together. Yeah. And then we have the other thing that we would always do for all these characters is we would have the background of where they were. So we would like either be we were in the sewers of Derry with Pennywise.
Mhm.
For Darth Maul, it's my favorite one, is you're inside his Sith infiltrator. And the way I got that footage was by going into Battlefront 2 and like taking the whole HUD off of the game and then just recording from the starship mode inside. And by doing that, you basically get a loop of inside of his ship, which is pretty badass. You can have like the sound of it. Like it's pretty sweet.
That is really cool.
Yeah, so we did that one. We were Batman in the Batcave. We were Jack Sparrow in a bunch of different tropical locations. We did one of my other favorite streams we did, which was really ridiculous, was Ghost Mario for Luigi's Mansion. So I put on Mario's outfit, but I was in a green suit. So I was completely invisible except for my eyes. So you were seeing like a floating mustache, floating eyes, and floating
That's
Mario
so
hat.
cool, dude.
Yeah. And that was really fun because that was actually on Halloween too. And they had released the game on Halloween. So I was super hyped because I like Luigi's Mansion
Mhm.
and I like Nintendo. And it was a chance to go back to that kind of more like, I guess, every age kind of game, but it's still really fun. So that was another really fun one. And we did the same kind of thing with the green screen with Ghostbusters. I did. Because have you ever played Ghostbusters 3 on Steam?
No.
This game is cool
no.
because it's written by the same guys that wrote Ghostbusters 1 and 2. And it's performed by the actors. So Bill Murray, everyone every Ghostbuster, it's his authentic voice. It was right before Harold Ramis passed away. So if you play this game, you're basically playing the unofficial third movie in the Ghostbusters trilogy, which is pretty badass.
I'm trying to see.
And they remastered it, so it's even better looking. And if you've never played it, it's definitely a fun playthrough because you get to it's very much in the spirit of Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters, the video game remastered.
Yeah, so good.
Okay, this is interesting because my son, my older boy, loves Ghostbusters, or he really did. He went through a phase of this, and I remember he was watching YouTube videos of this game, of someone playing through this game, and as I was watching it with him, I was like, this is actually a good story. Like,
it's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, and it's a very typical like early Xbox 3 or like maybe late PS2, early PS3 type graphics, like with the stuff I was watching. But if they remastered it, it's probably better at this point. So
it's a gem. It's a gem. Okay. And we did that one with the same thing where I had like the same outfit as them. I had the proton pack, but again, you're wearing a green screen. So it was basically the fifth Ghostbuster hanging out
Okay.
with the non-ghost Ghostbusters.
Nice, dude.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. There's like some random characters. Like I've done Judge Dredd. Maul has a brother in Clone Wars. He's basically a yellow version of Maul, but like bigger and more Frankenstein-y, kind of jacked.
Okay.
And that's another one we did. Because, one of the beautiful things about Battlefront 2 on PC, outside of being called terrible slurs and being told to commit suicide on PC, is you get mods.
Yep.
So the downsides is all the fucking toxicity and the hackers, because there's a lot of hackers, but only on PC. But then you get all the mods. So I modded my guy to be Savage Opress, that's Maul's brother, so I could play as the guy. And that would only be because of the mods, which is pretty sweet.
That's awesome, man. So it's safe to say that your life took a pretty big turn when you happened across your tickets to Comic-Con.
Yeah, that was pretty wild. That was the first thing for sure.
Like, so I guess what was the next step in like so there's a lot that happens between getting your tickets and then that Comic-Con. Was there something that happened at that Comic-Con that kind of started leading you down like the path that you're on? Because it just seems like that is like a big inflection point in your whole story, and like see where you are now.
Yeah. It definitely started it, and that was just the randomness of it. And I've always been a Maul fan, so that was always there. But having done it the first time and seeing the attention and like the just the response that costume got, like that's the closest I'll ever feel to being like Michael Jackson on Earth, because it was the only time where everyone would just like their heads would snap, because it really popped. And my buddy was a Red Guard. So it was like this giant, like 6'4" Red Guard escorting like red, black Darth Maul, and it was like legitimately done. So we were being told nonstop, you can't stand, keep moving, because it's, if you've never been to San Diego Comic-Con, it's just walls of people, just wall after, like you're shoulder to shoulder, and it's crazy. And there's like events and different stages all around this huge auditorium, but they don't like you to stand. But every time we would walk on the floor, like 30 or 40 people would pull their phones out and be like, just really quick, because they really want to take a photo of you.
Yeah.
And so you would just kind of like stop, start. So it was really hard to get from one end of the floor to the other. And like when we tried to leave, like it took us like 40 minutes to leave, because every time we take a step, someone else wants to take a photo.
Yeah.
So that like, I guess that, and seeing how Disney handled the sequels made me think, wouldn't it be cool to ask people questions at the cons? Like that would be a cool idea for YouTube. So that's kind of how that came about. And I think that also that kind of also got me streaming. But that was also kind of random, because it was one of my coworkers who was like, yo, Twitch, you should check it out. I don't know what that is, but yeah, he showed me how to do all that shit. So it was kind of a bunch of different things. Honestly, pretty random. It's pretty random. Yeah.
You're the content I see you like involved with. So the stuff you do is mostly games, and you're doing interviews at Comic-Con. You're dressing up as characters, but then you occasionally engage in some sort of pop culture commentary with Adam Krigler on Bay Staff.
I do.
How did that start? Because it's very different than, playing games is one thing, because it's you're just having fun with something you like. But then getting into the culture, the quote unquote culture war space, and starting to be more vocal, did you see pushback from people who had, been following you from Twitch or
for sure. Yeah, that actually makes me sad to think about. There was definitely some people that I think left my channel forever, which, I still wish them nothing but the best, and I appreciate them. Like there's one person who sent me a whiskey glass with Darth Caul and like the Darth Maul face on it. I don't know if that's why they left, but I knew that it might happen. But yeah, I don't have any regrets about it. But people can be touchy. People can get upset with you pretty quickly just for having an opinion. But how I got on Adam's show was, I've been watching the Tim Pool and Adam cast back when that was around, which is not around anymore, but that's what I was watching. And I remember watching him, and then I followed him on Twitch, I was like, I'll give him a raid if I ever see him. Because he didn't really stream that much on Twitch. But I remember
Yeah.
logging off one night and he was live. I was like, oh shit, I'll go raid him. And then I raided him and I said, yo, what's up? I'm so and so. I kind of introduced myself, like, hey,
Yeah.
because normally I don't do that. Normally I'll just be like, I'll just raid, and that's it. I'll just say hi and then I'll peace out. But I was like, hey, check out my channel. Like I basically told him, check out my shit. It's cool. And then he did. He checked it out live. He's like, oh, he went through my page, which is you'll see most of my stuff on my about page on Twitch. So he's like, oh, that's
Mhm.
cool. And then that's how we started gaming. And then we would just be talking about, the world. He'd be like, you should come on my show. And I was like, I don't know, maybe. Because like I do like having conversations and I do like podcasting, but it's also I was hesitant and wary just because shit can happen and there's reasons to be hesitant, but
Right.
friends are friends, and so at the end of the day, I didn't really give that much of a shit. Like whatever. But yeah, that's how
Yeah.
that all came about.
It's hard, man. I remember when I was trying to decide what I wanted to do because it was mainly around COVID. I've told this
Mm-hmm.
story a few times, but like around COVID, I was just everyone was out of work and everyone had all the time in the world to look up things, and I started just seeing the difference in what I was being told versus what I was like, like pulling back the veil, and
Mm-hmm.
almost
Mm-hmm.
or seeing those glitches in the matrix, and I thought,
Black
what
cat.
the
There's two of them. Fuck.
yeah, and there's a cat
Mm-hmm.
behind you.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and as I would like I wanted to talk to people about this stuff because I was getting interested in like politics and like why
Mm-hmm.
why are you saying one thing and then I'm seeing that it's another, and I every time I said something I was getting so much pushback from it, and it never feels good, right? Because on my
Never
end I
feels
was getting
good. No,
pushed, yeah, and from
it
my
sucks.
side I was
Yeah.
getting pushback from people I had grown up with, family members, which that hurts more than faceless morons on Twitter
Yeah,
or,
that's crazy. That's like, I don't know. People need to chill the fuck out, basically. Like, come on.
yeah, no, I'm right there with you, man. It's like I was just like, I just want to talk about this. Like you could feel a particular way and you could
Mm-hmm.
disagree. I was like, but like I've known you since I was 5, like or you're my aunt or whatever. Like we can't
Mm-hmm.
talk about this. You're just gonna so it always hurt, and even people, I mean, there's been a few people who have disagreed with things that I've said over the past couple of years that I've been doing consistent YouTube content. And, you know, some of them have voiced their opinions. Others have just sort of slowly faded into the background, which, you know, I have realized some left for their own personal reasons, not because of opinions I had, but
Mm-hmm.
also some had said, hey, I don't really want to be a part of this. And I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, that's fair, like, but it never feels good to know that someone left because you had an opinion on something.
Yeah, I know that totally always sucks. When COVID dropped, because my channel, especially on Twitch, was like I would explicitly put like this is escapism. Like I don't want like drama. I don't want politics when we're gaming. Like it was supposed to be an outlet to kind of like the movies back in the 1920s and 30s during the Depression. Like you want to get away from it all and have something that just takes your mind off of it. And so I remember banning all the words because people would bring it up all the time. I just got my latest so and so, or oh, COVID-19 this. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck about that subject. When I'm live on my
Right.
channel, I'm here to just vibe and make people hopefully have a good time.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't, whatever, but that's all I'm here for. So I remember
Yeah.
getting rid of those terms when I was streaming because it would come up so much and it would make the conversation focus around that. And I was like, nah, that's not happening. But when I go on other people's podcasts, I don't have a problem
Right.
giving my 2 cents on anything. If
Yeah.
you can't really, I mean, you can, but you really shouldn't dismiss people just because you disagree with them. Like there's always going to be someone who disagrees with you,
Yeah.
and I think it's better to, at least for me, my approach is you could have the furthest opinions from me possible. I'll still hang out with you and have a beer. Like I don't, just be chill. It will be cool.
Right. No, that's a good point.
Yeah.
And one of the criticisms I'm having now with people in the commentary space is like, the GTA 6 teaser comes out and like you have groups that are like automatically like this game is woke, and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
you saw 30 seconds of this of not even gameplay. You know,
Yeah,
you
it's
see the
barely even a trailer, but it does look cool. I thought it looked cool. But yeah.
yeah, you know, like
Mhm.
and I don't know, like part of it is like exhaustion from everything, maybe even like a touch of apathy in some ways. Like I want to play games, just like you're saying, like it's escapism, and it's
Yeah.
another reason I like was playing Dark Souls. I was like, because I can escape into high fantasy
Yeah.
and like punish myself trying to figure this world out and the map and all. Like when you get into like even when you get into like competitive gaming, it's like there's too much stuff to worry about. Like I got to figure
Mhm.
out metas. I got to figure out like does this character match up against this character? Like I really like Overwatch. I love
Yeah.
playing Overwatch. But it's a lot to do and the people like any competitive game are
Been playing like
so
8,000 hours, so they're
yeah.
like
Yeah.
you can't learn the learning. It's like it's kind of like an MMA. Like if some dude's been wrestling since he's 18, like you're not going to be able to be better than that guy at wrestling in like a
Right.
3-month training camp. You're going to get if you're not a wrestler, right? Same thing. Like for any game, when you're going into any game, there's always going to be people that have been playing it literally since beta, for like 8 hours a day, 12 hours a day, nonstop for like 3 years. So you go against like the sweatiest of the sweat always. It's
Oh
intense.
my god, dude.
Intense.
And that's the thing too with like whether it's Counter-Strike or even Modern Warfare. I've been having fun playing Modern Warfare a little bit with Adam and I played with Flawed and Mo.
Nice.
And but like the thing is like that those games a lot of times like you'll have like a run of a few wins and all of a sudden like the skill-based matchmaking kicks in and you're playing against like these sweats all of a sudden you're like why am I just
Mhm.
like I was just playing fine and now I'm getting tossed like
Yeah.
5 and 23 like this is embarrassing.
Dude, there's
Like,
levels. There's levels to it. Like even in Battlefront 2, because one of the things I think I'm decent at is lightsaber combat in Battlefront 2. Like I fought in the Clone Wars. You feel me? Like I've crossed sabers with many a Jedi and Sith in my day. So I'm decent. So like going against like any rando, just destroy them. But then
right.
you play the people who literally are still playing Battlefront 2 hardcore.
Hmm.
Hardcore. I remember one time I played with Adam and we were like practicing and dueling. Like I was like teaching him the ways of the lightsaber because right at the end of Battlefront 2, they gave the servers over to the public. And so
Ooh,
you could make public lobbies for the first time. Just imagine how stupid that is though, that for the whole existence of Battlefront 2, you could not make private lobbies with your friends. Like if I wanted
yeah,
to do a 2v2 with you and Flawed and Adam and we would just practice and have fun like learning the game, you can't do that.
that's weird. Yeah,
And
in
only
this day
like
and
when
age.
they were like, this game's dead, you can have it now. Then, and that was like right when Adam was giving it a shot. Because
Mhm.
if you go into Battlefront 2 raw in HVV, you'll never want to go back into that game ever again
Oh,
because it's
I
four
imagine.
people. Yeah, yeah, like it's just like four bullies, like just dunking your head in the toilet bowl, like for like nonstop from start to finish. That's what it's like. Unless you have your own bully squad. Like if
Right.
you have four people on the mic, and that's what we would do. I would have three other Sith lords that I trusted the most that were really, really good at the game. And we would go into like heavy comms. It's very competitive, but it was very fun to watch. Like if
Yeah.
you go through some of the old videos and you watch some of the 4v4s, it's pretty intense because there's comms nonstop. And it's crazy force powers, people hitting you with crazy blaster shots from across the map. It's fun. But if you're new and you're raw and you go into that world,
Yeah.
you'll be like, this game is so unfun. And that was one of
That's
the other problems. Yeah.
I was sorry to interrupt you. I was just
No,
to
no,
say
no.
like that's one of those things like I've never had the level of autism to like really stick with a game. I don't mean to
Mhm.
say that like to belittle anyone. I just mean like I've never been able to fixate on a game so much that I like I mean a little bit with Counter-Strike. I played
Yeah.
Global Offensive quite a bit when it had first come out and I got pretty good. I did pretty well. And now that I'm older, like my reflexes are off and like the maps have changed. Like even like moving a box like totally creates different lines of sight.
You have to
And
account for your reflexes going down for sure, because that
yeah,
eventually starts to happen with age. So I feel like people that play games like us, I don't think we're going to feel that deterioration quite as much. It's going to
mhm,
happen
yeah,
because there's always the younger, faster, smarter, better gamer out there, right? So
right,
eventually the old dogs will be put out to pasture. But I feel like if you're playing these games and you've got that much rhythm, to some degree, you're always going to have some reflexes. That's going to
yeah,
be better than the average bear, you know?
yeah. No, that's for sure. And a lot of it too is a bit of muscle memory.
Hmm.
Like real like knowing like the maps haven't changed so drastically that like I don't remember like certain peak points or where, higher level players will like hold because it gives you the biggest angle to see, like so you can like see them before they see you type of thing.
Hmm.
Um so like there is stuff I remember. And even with Overwatch, like Overwatch, I've played it enough and I've played enough heroes to like hold my own even in like some higher end lobbies a lot of times because I just understand the basics of how to like play at high levels where it's like, oh no, don't just run in there and die. Like,
Hmm. Hmm.
group up and play from this point, like get the high ground, like all that stuff can like totally change like your experiences. But if you're fresh in like me, if I like you said, if I walked into Battlefront 2 right now and tried to
HVV,
play,
dude, just log into HVV and see what that experience is like. It's like you're gonna be grabbed by the scruff of your neck and that's what it feels like. It's crazy. I remember one of my buddies went in there and we lost a member. So it was like they were all on mic and we were
Mm.
down a member, and I was like, he's about to hold on to his ankles and it's gonna be rough. And I knew it was gonna be rough. And he was like, this game sucks. I'm never playing again. I was like, I knew it. It's pretty intense sometimes.
Yeah, what is that saying? Like it's like if Tyson had fought an infant, like that's what it would be, is just getting
Yeah.
pummeled
Hmm.
over and over. In that you're right. Like you go into a game, and that's why I don't like recommending games to friends a lot of times because some competitive games are brutal if you don't understand them. Like I
Brutal.
I know what I know about Overwatch and Counter-Strike because I've probably put in about almost as many hours like watching like pros play and watching videos um like where certain like smokes or like in Counter-Strike you throw your utility grenades, smokes, flashes, and uh god, Molotovs and stuff like those. There's like a meta game that you can play with those in order to set up to get your team in place.
Hmm.
So and then not to mention like positioning callouts, like where are you on the map? Oh, I'm on A long. Well, what the hell is that? You don't know these things unless you play them for at least 100 hours, and then again
Yeah,
another
true.
100 hours of just watch. Okay, how does this pro play this character? Like in Overwatch, I love watching like professional tank players play all the different tanks because I play like three and I'm
Yeah.
proficient at them, and there's like what I think 12 tanks now. So it's just it's games are weird, man. They're wild, especially competitive ones.
Yeah.
Uh,
As long as you can keep your chill. Like I'm a very mellow person, so like we all experience rage to a degree in gaming,
mhm,
but I feel like I never get too high or too low. Normally I'm
yeah,
pretty chill. We all have our slip ups,
yeah,
fly off the handle a little bit, but I think that helps. Is like you were talking about before with Flawed. Flawed's very open minded. He'll play any game.
yeah.
Like we played Dead by Daylight. I'm like, play Dead by Daylight with me, and I'll show you the ropes. But I didn't bring him into like the just like the lobby where you can kind of explore the map without the game starting. I just dropped him straight into let's play matches, and he doesn't know what the controls are.
Mhm.
This killer's just fucking his shit up every 3 seconds. Like Flawed's just like, oop, Flawed's dead, oop, Flawed's dead, because he doesn't know what he's doing. But
Right.
throughout that whole thing, he didn't get pissed or triggered. He was just laughing, having a good time, and I was helping him. Like I'm like, okay, okay, do this. Okay, so this is what happened there. So this is why that was that way. So next time, do this or that. But I probably should have eased him into it a little bit more.
Yeah,
But he's a good example of someone who's chill and doesn't really care that much. So even though it was a bit of a rough ride for him,
yeah.
he was a really good sport about it, which was cool.
Well, and that's why. So, like, I'm the when I play games, like I'm competitive, So it's easier for me to lose my cool. But when I play with, if I played with you and Adam and like Flawed and Mo, like if like we all dropped into Dead by Daylight, I'd be more willing to play it because I wouldn't be. I'd be like, oh, this is with friends, like we're all playing together.
Yeah, I wouldn't care if we died every time. As long
Right.
as you were having fun and learning, like and getting a handle on things, like I wouldn't care. I always try my best. And I'm competitive, like you said, like I can't help but try and win and do my best. And I really enjoy competing. I love PvP. Like I played a
Yeah.
shitload of WoW, Arena, and Battlegrounds back in my day, which was really, really a good experience for PvP with like mouse keyboard.
Mhm.
Um, but at the end of the day, if you lose, you lose. I never really care that much.
Yeah.
It's just a game.
Yeah, no, it's true. And I think internet culture and Twitch and like the pro e-gamer scene has like in some ways infected my mind. Like, oh well, if you're good enough at this, like maybe you could like do it on another level. And I realize as a 38-year-old that's very unlikely. And I'm not that good at it, you know. But
Yeah.
I always want to be the best. But playing with someone like Flawed and yourself, like it really helps me like just chill, like just relax. Cause you got like I don't think I've ever seen you like even like you even if you were mad, I didn't know you were mad, you know?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
like I've never seen it happen. And
It's
that's
happened. It's happened. Adam's been there where I've gotten a little saucy.
really
Yeah. Yeah,
that's
yeah.
funny.
I mean, like I said, we all have our flare ups where I don't know, like sometimes you just get kind of frustrated. Like it happens. But
Yeah.
I never take it personally. I never take things out personally on my friends. If I ever do feel like I was being a dick, like really a dick, like I'll be like, yo, hope I didn't rub you the wrong way. I was a little fired up. Like I was competitive. I was in the zone. Like might
Dark
be.
Side came out.
The
Yeah.
dark side came out. Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. Dude, streaming that game was crazy because of how toxic everything was and how competitive it was.
Yeah.
Like the others, a lot of the other streamers wouldn't go into HVV because it's so much more intense. Like they'd rather just fuck up because you can go into like the Galactic Assault where it's like there's tons of people, but when
Yeah.
it's like a very finite amount of pieces on the chessboard and they all are superheroes,
Hmm.
there's a lot less room for error and you can look stupid basically on stream.
Yeah.
So you have to be open to not worrying about how you're perceived, and you know
Right.
everyone's going to take their L's at the end of the day. You can't go undefeated in anything.
This is true, man.
Yeah,
It's something I've been trying to like remind myself of is like you're gonna take your L's every now and then, and that's all right, you know. Like it's
even
just
a lot of
not.
times.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
And but if you let it get you down or let it keep you down, like well, then maybe you deserve it. And but it's all like it's self-inflicted either way. Like you either
Yeah.
rise above it, you know, pull yourself up, or you let it keep you down. You know, there's no one holding me down. Like after, oh, you did bad in a game of Overwatch. Well, get over it because no one else cares and everyone forgot already. So,
Yeah.
like,
Short-term memory is very good for gaming.
yeah,
Have a short-term memory on to the next one as soon as it's over. You can, the better you are at letting go of whatever feelings you were feeling and you're focused on the next task,
yeah,
the better. Because like if you let that stay with you and you get like really frustrated, I think most of the time it makes you play worse.
yeah,
Like I'm sure there are some
yeah.
people that maybe play better mad, right? Like there are some weirdos that are built like that, but most people usually they play worse, I think.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even like, well, I went to the gym tonight and my buddy and I, we go and he's been helping me build just more strength. And a lot of it is just comes from like, you know, rooting me on, you know, like just,
Hmm.
yo, dude, fuck, yeah, fuck, put that up, you know, oh, that's light, you know, keep going. Cause I'll dwell on how something is like heavy or like I'll dwell on the fact that I'm exhausted. And he's like,
Hmm.
fuck, he's like, forget about it, dude. Like, we're doing this. Like, you got 6, you got 7, whatever it is, you know, whatever I'm on for my set. And like, it's just nice to know, like, and even when he's not there, I'll go to the gym at least one day a week without him. And I have to like actively remember, like, just put it out of your mind. Stop telling yourself you're too weak to lift this because it will be so. You know,
It's
you're
true.
gonna you're gonna perform worse because you're not. I mean, there's obviously physical fatigue that happens, but there's also, you know, putting that aside to the best that you can and just pushing through it because that's ultimately what's building muscle or you know helping me lose weight is putting myself in the mindset that you're not too tired, that or even if you are tired, just you got to push through it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's awesome, and I totally agree. It sounds like some Novak Djokovic mentality, which I like. It's even if you're like 95% focused and you got like that 5%, like oh, it's kind of heavy. 100% focused person will get maybe one extra rep because they have that full focus instead of most focus.
Right.
I
No,
feel that.
dude,
Yeah, yeah.
it's it's wild. You know what I was going to ask you? We haven't I don't know if I know, and I don't know if you want to talk about it, but is there I want to ask, like, what is it that you do in real life? And I don't know if you've ever shared that, or if it's a topic you stay away from in order to not.
I usually stay away from it just to
Do you? Okay.
keep the distance. Yeah.
No, that's fine. Is it? I guess I could ask, like, does it relate at all to like the streaming or commentary stuff, or is it? Or is
No.
that even too? No, it doesn't. Okay, that's
No.
cool.
Yeah, it's totally different.
It's pretty wild. Like, I mean, I mean, obviously the anonymity that you've sort of taken on in shielding yourself, like physically from
Mhm.
people knowing what you look like, but like it, it's wild how we're able to live nowadays almost two separate lives. We live one life, obviously, in our physical, every day-to-day life, but we can live one and it not even be creepy, right? Like, I don't find you to be creepy at all for wearing glasses and a hat
Thank you.
and
Thank
talking
you.
about things you like,
Mhm.
But
Hell yeah.
it's weird that like, I mean, that's just normal now. Everybody accepts that, and most people are doing it. I think very few people are like myself and Adam and, like, like a lot of people in the commentary space. They do keep their identity fairly, you know, tucked in. Not a
Mhm.
lot of people are using. I mean, I don't use my real name, but it wouldn't necessarily be a stretch to figure it out.
Yeah.
And but it's just, I don't know. What do you think about how we're, like, where we're at with stuff like that?
I mean, the internet's a wild place. I try to conduct myself as if someone's in the room with me, whether it's online or off, because otherwise you're kind of stretching how you might behave. And I don't know. I like to stay in my lane. I like to shut up and eat my slop and go about, one day to the next and the next, and just kind of grind it out and keep to myself. I love solitude. I think it's nice to have time for yourself.
Mhm.
But yeah, I just try to keep it pretty chill on Twitter. And yeah, speaking, we talked about Mike Tyson, and then one of my favorite quotes of his, I'm probably going to butcher it, is everyone has gotten a little too comfortable with saying whatever without getting punched in the mouth after.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's easy to get into the squawking and the back and forth. Like, I don't know. I almost never read comments or reply to people. Like, especially if someone comes at you and talks shit to you, I'll ignore them, because 99 out of 100 times they're looking for the response, and that's what they want, is they want to control how you behave.
Yeah.
So, I mean, everyone's different. Some people will shit talk and will be goaded into fights every single time. And like, oh yeah, you want to talk some shit, and they'll they'll talk a lot of shit and argue with strangers. I feel like it's a lot of hemming and hawing. It's a lot of energy for people that you're never gonna meet and never gonna know. I don't really see the point in it. I feel like it's just potentially putting your metaphorical troops at risk where there's nothing to be gained.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
That's
you get all art
really,
of war on that shit. Yeah.
yeah. No, it's a great way of putting it. And it's actually something, because I've engaged a few people
Yeah.
recently that I probably shouldn't have, but the my interview with Vito a couple weeks ago drew a lot of attention from people that are unsavory, to say the least. I thought the conversation with him was fine, and
Hmm.
and I said I want to get into conversations with people who I disagree with, or who I don't necessarily see, like, why they're doing something. I don't understand his pushback really on the Ripaverse stuff, but that's his battle that he's decided to wage, on him. But like, then his, like, little minions that sort of come out of the woodwork because of it, and they're trying to, like,
Yeah.
quote tweet me. And at first I was like, I'm going to reply, and then I just thought, wait a minute, this is what they want. Like,
Yeah.
this is what they thrive off of. And it just made me think, if someone's existence is like contingent upon me responding to them, I'm gonna let them starve, because
That's
I
smart.
don't owe them anything.
Yeah. Yeah, no,
And
that's a great approach. I would do the same thing. Don't you're not throwing any rocks in other people's ponds. So I think the response when someone throws a rock in yours is to, like, go find a bigger rock and try and throw it into theirs.
yeah,
And just walking away, I think, is usually the better answer. Like, I've never really been attacked or had like, one time someone made a video about me, so random. It's probably got like 4 views. This was back in probably like 2019, and I remember seeing my face as Darth Maul with like the backwards hat, and I'm like, what the fuck? I don't remember making this video. What is this? And it was like this random guy with like 5 followers that was making a video saying Darth Caul exposed. And he's like, look how shitty he is at the game. I think he played me once and beat me. And like, he made a whole video about it. And I was like, damn, dude, like, this is crazy. I can't believe no one before or since, I don't think, has ever made a video about Darth Caul. Like, it's crazy. I didn't take offense at all. I was like, all right, my name is in your mouth. That's kind of weird, but whatever. But even if that was the case, like, I don't even know if I would respond,
Yeah. No,
maybe I would, but even if I would, I don't know. I don't see myself getting into back and forth with people, because I just want to focus on what I want to create and what I want to do, and focus on what makes me happy. And usually that doesn't involve focusing on other people.
No, it's very, very true, man. It's I think it's some really great advice, and it's something that I try and follow. And every now and then I slip up and I'll quote tweet someone and give them my 2 cents, but sometimes it's just because I'm like, oh, I have something to say in relation to this. It's not to incite more, because I don't even get notifications. A lot of times I'll just see it because I'll notice the quote tweet or whatever, and I'm like, oh, what did someone have to say? And a lot of times it's nothing other than, oh, you didn't read my super chat, bro. I'm like, well, don't hate chat people. Like, you're spending money to send like hateful messages. Like, not only is that weird, but like, don't expect someone to read that shit.
If I got that, I don't think I've ever really gotten like super chats where they're like, fuck you, Darth Caul. But if they did, I would just be like, I would see the person's name and I would thank them for the donation. I wouldn't read it, but I would just be like, thanks, man. Like, I mean, you gave me money. Cool.
Yeah. And that's what I said.
I'm grateful, honestly.
Yeah. And honestly, it was like, actually, I didn't get any hate super chats during the interview. It was on the midweek hump after, and they were in our chat, like, trying to disrupt everything. And yeah. And
I've had that on Twitch.
Yeah.
That's when you're like, thank God I have moderators, because again, you look kind of crazy when you're Darth Maul playing a game. It attracts the trolley trolls. Like, they want to get in there and
disrupt
and talk shit. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was just, I thanked him. I said, oh, thank you for your mic. I was like, I'm not going to read what you said. I'm not going to let you try and distract my guest. But thanks anyway. Thank you for the money. And they're like, well, I'm going to refund it. I'm like, then refund it, weirdo. Like, I don't care what you do. Like, I mean, thank you for your money, but if you need to, take it back, I guess. So, but yeah, I still think it's a weird phenomenon. I've seen it before where people in other chats they'll send $2 to $5 to say their piece and get a rise. I'm like, I think it's weird, but I guess if that makes you happy, you're spending your money on hating someone. But
yeah, you're helping them,
right? Yeah,
which is cool. Sweet.
I mean, I'll always take money. There's no doubt about it.
Same.
But
that's right. Internet. If you want to send me money, there are links.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, dude, it's I wish we could do some more. I would like to game with you more.
Yeah, dude. Adam and I were just doing some Dead by Daylight. You should try it. It's like 4 mice versus a cat, and it's like keep away and hide and seek. It's awesome. I think it's fun.
So bad at it, and but
I can help you get better. I know the tricks. I'm not a bad looper.
No, and this is why I need to play with you guys, because I want to play games and not feel like I have to compete. Just have fun. Because I'm sure I would like that. I have played Dead by Daylight. I think I have it. I have played it.
Yeah.
I don't hate it. It's just I don't know how to be good.
You got to squat up. You got to squat up and learn the ropes. And then once you do that, man, it's fun. It's fun. Because there's nothing better than a cat fucking getting clowned by a mouse. Tom and Jerry is entertaining for a reason. And when you're a talented survivor and you're slippery, that's when that stuff comes out. It's amazing how much I've put into that game. I never thought I would like that game so much. I don't even remember why I started playing it. And then I'm like, damn, this game is really fun. Like it's a very fun, chill game for me to stream. Like, yeah, out of all the games I've streamed, it's one of the ones I've put the most time into,
And
which
that's
is crazy.
I like watching. It's why I like watching Twitch, because I like watching people who are good at games like that, because I'm not good at them. But like
Yeah,
seeing how people like double back, or
the
like,
mind games are crazy. Yeah.
yeah, dude, like some people are just really good at juking, and I'm like that. I mean, obviously that takes time to
Mhm.
learn and all that, but like I personally would love to learn how to be a good killer, because that's, again, it's the competitive side of me that's like, ooh, that looks like so much fun. The only one that you're trying to get all these survivors, like,
It is fun. It's fun, but you're also on your own.
yeah,
So if you're going
and in
against what's
first
called a,
person, right?
and you're in first person, unless you're Chucky. Chucky just came out, and I just made a Chucky video, and he's in third person. And I remember
What?
recording the footage for it, and I felt so dirty because I'm good at hugging walls and looking down corridors if you're in third person, because I'm so used to it
Yeah,
from all my Battlefront 2 days, because you're in third person, and you'll dash behind a wall and you'll anticipate like kind of bringing them in, and
yeah.
then you're dashing into position while they're trying to get around that corner. You're basically manipulating, and you're knowing what they're doing before they're doing it.
Mhm.
And a lot of that has to do with being in third person and being able to see around that corner. And that's the only killer that can do that, which is pretty crazy. He's really, really
Okay.
fun. Adam hates him. Adam fucking hates Chucky. He's tough. He's very
Is
tough.
he little? Like, is he
He's
like,
little. He's little. He can go under pallets. He drops off the radar so you can't hear him. You
oh,
can't see his
bro?
red stain.
That,
Uh, he's brutal. He's brutal. But
so what's the counter to it? Like, how do you like that?
you
That
know,
seems like a completely unfair advantage for the survivors.
he's very strong. I would say he's the third best killer. I don't think he's the best. I think the top two are still the top two, and they haven't changed for a long time, just because of the way those killers are built. But Chucky's really, really good. You have to kind of play high risk, high reward. You kind of have to make good guesses, because when you go into a loop and you drop a pallet, usually you're looking. You have to be able to turn the camera behind you and always see where the killer is. So you have to be able to run, but also look behind you and still not like run into trees, because then you're going to die.
Right.
But with Chucky, it's so hard to see him most of the time, because you go into a loop and there's like logs, there's a car. If there's a car, he's gone. You can't see him. So I remember this one time I was sitting at this like pallet, and I knew and he knew that I was there, and we were kind of like doing this
Little chicken.
left, right,
Yeah.
but I couldn't see him, and then he drops off the radar. And so I'm like, this is like millisecond to millisecond. I'm like
Yeah.
looking, and by the time I noticed the leaves on the left start to like move a little bit, it's already too late, and he's on me because he's so small. He's beneath the leaves, so he just like casually walked up to me, and I was staring at the screen like, I'm gonna see him when he does this, and I still didn't see him when he did it. It was crazy.
That's
But yeah, for like
wild.
shit like that, you gotta kind of guess or get away from the loop. But you can if you're a good survivor, usually sometimes they'll get you, but you can drag out anyone if you're on your game enough, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll reinstall Dead by Daylight, and I'll try
Yeah,
and
yeah,
hop in
dude.
with you guys, because
Hop in, because
yeah,
when you have four people, it's so much better. Because the killer is OP, right?
yeah,
So when you have like when Adam and I do it, like we were streaming or we were just gaming today, there's just two of us, which means that we have comms with me and him, and we don't know what the fuck the other two people are doing. And when you have two, it's like not nearly as good as having a cohesive four, like, because then everyone's on the same page, everyone's in the same Discord, everyone's on mic. We're all like, okay, where's the killer? Where's the killer? And you can like all bring better stuff. You can choose the map. So when you have a squad, it's
mhm.
called a survive with friends. That's what it's called when you play with four people.
Oh,
It's
okay,
just way, way better. Like if you just randomly install that game and you queue solo like me, you're probably going to have a rough time, because you're playing with three strangers and you don't really know the game. Like
right,
sometimes I'll like pull off some cool shit or get into the hatch, but even me queuing solo, it's harder. When you have four people, it's a whole other experience. It's fun.
nice. Well, we will certainly get together for that.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, I want to thank you for being a part of this interview today and being a guest on my channel.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Thank you.
Chat, we are going to do a little bit of a little recording um, for the locals members, and so we're gonna cut off from here in just a second, uh, and then after that, I'm gonna be playing some more Dark Souls 2 over on my gaming channel. So make sure you guys head over there if you want to see me suffer a little bit more. I'm sure a lot of you will.
Nice.
And then, Call, why don't you tell anyone what we got happening coming up? Anything that people need to check out?
Yeah. So you can follow me on Twitter. I tweet when I go live. I have a Twitch channel you can check out, Darth Caul on Twitch. I got a YouTube where you can see a lot of interviews. I had been held out of Comic-Con for 4 years, which is crazy because of you know why. And so I just got some interviews up. We did 2 days. We did Darth Maul on day 2, and we did Jack Sparrow on day 1. And we asked people about Johnny Depp. We asked people about Star Wars. So if you want to see Comic-Con interviews, I suggest checking out my YouTube. It's just my name. And if you want to watch me game on Twitch, just follow me on Twitch. I go live there all the time. And I just did a Chucky video on YouTube where the doll himself plays as Chucky. I glued Nintendo Switch cons into an animatronic's hand and green screened him in. It's fucking great. Check it out. So cool. Give it a comment. I would appreciate it. Yeah, that's about it.
Sweet. Like I said, don't forget to share this, guys. Like the video if you can. And then if you're watching afterwards, leave a comment. And of course, all of Caul's links are down in the description below. We really appreciate your time tonight and joining this conversation. We are going to record a little segment, and then I'll be playing Dark Souls 2 over on the gaming channel. Make sure you guys check that out. We'll see you guys very soon. See you later.
Word.